entitled Golf Instruction and Values. I was lucky enough to be introduced to the game of golf at an early age, and my first teacher was my dad, and he taught me everything I know about golf today. And when I was young, my dad and I, we belonged to a country club, and we used to go out and play every day in the summer. And I really fell in love with the game of golf when I figured out it was a game that you could not beat, and it was you versus yourself in the course. And I really loved that I could get away from everything when I was out on the golf course, and it was an outlet for my stress. And I love that it was a game of minimizing your mistakes, and it's not a game of perfection, it's just a game of minimizing your mistakes. And the sooner you learn that, the sooner you can fall in love with the game yourself. The game teaches values such as perseverance, honesty, and integrity, and it usually rubs off on its players. A fun fact about golf, usually it's probably the only sport where you're encouraged to call a foul or an infraction on yourself, and because the game is built around integrity and honesty. So my big question for this project was, how could I use my talents to affect those in the community? I could have gone many routes with this project. I could have sponsored a tournament. I could have raised money for golf teams like the boosters do to facilitate equipment or extra tournaments. But I wanted to go the route of teaching golf to my peers. And I wanted to explain the importance of values to my peers because values shape you as a person. And golf has many positive values that can rub off on its players. And here's a picture during my project where I'm teaching one of my pupils how to swing a golf club and in the backswing, and trying to teach them the transition of the downswing. So, the goals of this project was to teach the basics of golf to my peers, mostly the full swing. I was going to try to teach putting and chipping if I had time. I wanted to demonstrate real-life values in the game of golf, such as perseverance, honesty, and integrity. And I wanted to give a game to my peers that they could play for a lifetime. As we all know, most sports you cannot play for a lifetime because physical incapability set in when you get older. But golf is the exception because you can play it as long as you live, because you don't have to fear of getting injured. The project layout. First, I would teach my peers how to putt, chip, and hit a golf ball. Then I would teach them first I would teach them the proper alignment and posture because that's what you need to make a full golf swing. Then I would try to teach them the etiquette and values in the game of golf. Afterwards, I would hand out a survey, and my students would evaluate me on my teaching and if I was enthusiastic about the game and if they learned anything about values and in general about the game of golf. And here's one of my other pupils. I was teaching her how to grip a club and the proper posture. And this is just a little video about me teaching yet another one of my pupils the proper posture and grip. You want to interlock your index finger with your pinky, like so.
So that has a slope when it's sweet.
Exactly. You don't want a baseball grip. That's just wrong. Anyways, you're going to lock your index finger and your pinky. And you want to overlap your thumb. Like so. So do you want to try this?
I guess I will. Okay, this. Okay. Alright?
Yep. Because you want the flip this to strong. This is closed. This is open.
Okay. Now, if I don't hit the ball, it doesn't have pitch, does it?
No, don't swing at it, man. This is the grip. We cover the grip. Alright, the next thing we want to cover is the stance. You want an athletic stance when you're golfing. You want your knees bent.
Shoulder width, then? Shoulder width or
Shoulder width is fine. A little bit more than shoulder width is probably the most you want to do. But you want to line up to the ball where everything is square. So your shoulders are right below your feet.
Okay.
You also
So much. Okay. Yeah, okay.
look on your knees and stand over the ball. Stand on the ball.
Oh, okay. You stand over the ball, I'm not gonna hit it? Okay.
Hold up, put your feet down.
Yeah.
You want most of your
Pressure on the ball, yeah, okay.
Alright, so there's that. Alright. Who wants to be my volunteer so I can demonstrate the golf swing? Do you have any volunteers? Alright. So, first of all, you want to get the golf club where it's lined up. You want your thumbs to be lined up with the pin somewhere here. Put your arm off here. Then you want to interlock. Pinky with your index finger. Like so. And then, if you want to, overlap your right thumb with your left thumb. Okay. So the first part of the golf swing involves the takeaway, and that's basically where you separate your upper body and your lower body. So you just want to take the club back like this to about 90 degrees. Perpendicular down. But you want to keep your chest intact. You only move your arms. So
Oh, I thought you were gonna stand.
oh no. Very good. That's good. Okay. You can clap if you want. And then, more of the swing. After you do the takeaway, you want to cock your wrists so this stores power up in your wrists. So on the downswing, you can snap your wrists. When you reach parallel position where the club is fully back and it's totally perpendicular to the ground, you set your wrists. You begin your downswing with your hips. Your hips always have to initiate your downswing. So when your hips initiate your downswing, your hands come to about right here. So you may ask yourself, what do you do from there? How am I going to get the golf club to the ground? Well, there's an answer to that. You snap your wrists. So when you're right here, you snap your wrists. And at impact, you always want the face of the club to be pointing at your target line. And your target line is dictated by your stance. So the front foot of your stance, right here, is your target line. So you draw an imaginary line right down the front of your foot. So at impact, you want the club to be facing your target line, and then after that, the follow through, you want to be pointing down your target line to ensure that the ball goes straight. And that's basically the demonstration of a full swing. Well, I don't know how to work for Google presentations, that's embarrassing. Alright, the expected results of this project. I wanted to teach my peers the fundamentals of golf and all its rules. But I couldn't do that in the amount of time I had, because golf has, oh my gosh, maybe 1,000 rules, and the exceptions to the rules, there's many more than that. So the second part I wanted to get out of this project was I wanted some of my students maybe to continue to play the game of golf, but that might not happen because some people think it's boring, but some people think it's interesting. So it depends on the person. But most importantly, I wanted to get out of this project was I wanted everybody in the project to have a good time. The actual results. So there were many time constraints in my project. And at the time, I set up my project the Monday after we got back from New York. And the only time the range was available was at 8 at night, so I had about an hour of light to teach my students how to play golf. Well, how to swing a golf club. So I didn't get to teach them everything I wanted to, like putting and chipping and, you know, just more of the basics. But all my participants had fun, and that's all that mattered to me. So they learned a lot about the basics of golf, and I'm proud of them. Thank you.
Questions or comments for Danny?
How many participants have you had?
I had 4, so I got to work with them individually, so that was the most important part.
How did you find your participants? Were they just people
Well-
you knew already?
Well, originally I was going to teach little kids how to golf, but since I ran out of time, I figured, I could just teach some of my friends how to golf, and they seemed relatively interested in the game of golf. So, yeah.
They say that in teaching, the teacher learns 90% of what they're teaching, and the student learns less than that. So what is it that you learned through the project itself that maybe you didn't know before?
Well, I learned you need to be very patient when teaching someone. You need to be extremely patient and always encouraging, no matter what the student's form looks like in the beginning. You always know that they will improve at one point, and you just got to look forward to that point. So.
Great, thank you.